As promised, here's some more Dead Rising 4 gameplay, and I thought, based on one of the comments I made yesterday, that I should elaborate, and this hour and a half or so gaming session really helped me with this. You'll see the absolutely useless stealth mechanics in action here while Frank is dispatching a bunch of maniacs on a pirate ship. The stealth doesn't work worth a crap when a guy's sitting right by the door that you can't access, but it doesn't matter because they mostly just stand there and let you hit them with a fish gun. And of all the violence and gore in this game, for some odd reason, this one looks like it would hurt a lot. Death by swordfish impaled in your face, and then you get smacked to death by the rest of the fish. Pretty awesome, not gonna lie. But yeah, I don't think they're supposed to just stand there and let you slap them with a fish to death. But that's a bug in your favor, and some people like that. I am ambivalent to that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the way the AI is supposed to look. But look, it's target practice. Now, you can't shoot through beams. Doesn't make any sense. You can't shoot through a railing. It acts like a wall. But yeah, right in the face with a fish is funny, but not very challenging. And this, it didn't apply to the boss, fortunately, who's coming up in a bit once I get rid of this glutton for punishment sentry with no ranged weapon. Here he comes. Here comes the boss, and he seems like he's going to be really tough, but no, a couple smacks with the fish gun. And then a really sloppy melee finisher are all it really takes. But, you know, I guess swordfishes really hurt. But I'm showing you this part, not just because of that sort of enemy AI doofus, but take note of the setting and the weapons. The weapon will come up in a bit, that Frank is carrying right now, because there was an interesting, complete crash. Yay, mission complete. But an interesting complete crash. Here's the weapons. Note the Triceratops head on the top that I am now going to ditch in a minute. But there we go. It's on. It's off. That's important because then you'll see I put on the exosuit. You'll see what I did with that a little bit later because it was super fun. But I went on with my game after blowing things away with a cannon. That was awesome. And you'll notice here Frank's got completely different clothes because it's much later in the game in a completely different part of the game. This is like the Japanese food court area part of the mall, complete with video game store and bubble tea. And so I was extra special mad that things decided to go sideways. There it goes. Whoa, crash. And after a very hasty relaunch that I shortened here, I hate these things. I'm like, no, how much did I lose? How much did I lose? How much did I lose? And you'll see I didn't lose the clothes, and I didn't lose my skill point allocation, but I'm back on that pirate ship with the same weapons that I had after I finished that very piratey boss fight. And it also remembered the enemies I dispatched before I did that boss fight, which actually made me sad because they look like Left Shark and I love Left Shark. But before that happened, we had a major glitch with a survivor event. Here we go. You see it triggered. Go save this survivor. Now, normally the survivor is on top of these kiosks surrounded by zombies, and you'll note that the zombies are behaving as if there's somebody up there. But nobody's up there. It's spawned underneath the floor, which became very interesting in terms of ending the quest. That's me running away to try to get it to come back, but nope. It is the invisible survivor. Everything is working the way it should, except the survivor's in the wrong place. And the way I ended up fixing this, you'll see we're getting to the end here. Those skulls mean that you're sort of in the last bits of the zombies you have to dispatch before it will let you allegedly collect your reward. Only it wouldn't let me collect my reward because the survivor's in the floor instead of the ceiling. And I eventually solved this problem by going away, doing a completely different survivor quest, and then coming back to collect this person. And she sort of fell from the ceiling at that point. But as you'll see, I got quite frustrated. I was like, no, I want my survivor. No, I even climbed up on top, but nobody there. Nobody there. I thought she might have just been invisible and I could push her off, but no. It was not to be. So I went on to another survivor mission. First off, I was very happy because the survivor was actually where they were supposed to be. Yay! Got there in just the nick of time. I found you gotta use close quarters weapons without any elemental attacks, or I think you can accidentally burn or acid or like ice the survivor. But yeah, I managed to save this lady, barely. But this was not without mishap either. And I'm not talking about the stupid, freshly zombified people who are really freaking annoying, especially in these encounters. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not the zombie raiding the vending machine, the zombie in the wall. And this is a very common bug. Fortunately, there's an easy fix. You take one of your ranged weapons, preferably something with an elemental attack as well, but, you know, my bladed out weed whacker works just as well. And you just swipe at the wall where the zombie should be until they either die or pop out of the wall so you can kill them properly. That's an easy one to deal with. So, yay for that.
Back to the shelter where it's safe.
After that, I moved on to one of my more favorite things to do in this game, killing zombies with Christmas. I love this. I love the fact that you can kill things with the symbols of peace on earth and goodwill toward men and glad tidings and cheer and Yule and all that stuff, and play really annoying Christmas carols. And I'm glad that somebody other than me thinks that those battery-powered things that play bad MIDI versions of Christmas carols are annoying. Like, good for them. But killing things with Christmas is just so fun for reasons I can't explain. First of all, it involves explosions and violence, which is good on its own. But then there's that extra smattering of Christmas, and this weapon drops presents. And the ornament launcher I used was actually drops from this weapon. Unfortunately, this survivor didn't have a very Merry Christmas. This survivor became the ghost of Christmas past. That's okay, though. At least on this part, there's more survivors than you can handle. My shelter's totally maxed out, and I kept rescuing survivors just because, you know, it's a thing I do. But all was not well this Christmas. Yes, it came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, parcels, or bags. Yes, that was the Grinch, I think, approximate, as I huck ornaments at zombies' heads. Yeah, once I finished killing these zombies with Christmas, and trying to kill myself with Christmas, as well as a few food court chairs and tables, I came upon another delightful bug in this game. It's coming up in a minute. I just couldn't bring myself to cut any of the explosions and zombies flying in the air. It was too awesome. But yeah, a few more to go. But it has to do with those vehicles you see right in front. These vehicles are crafted. All crafting is done by pressing and holding the B button. And you'll see me get the prompt right there. And I do my thing, and instead it picks something up. And then the bloody thing won't craft. No matter what I do, it won't craft. Why? And this made me really angry because this is an awesome combo vehicle. This one here. But fun stuff. This is a pickup thing, and if you read it, it's pretty much all poop jokes, starting with massive stool blowout and ending with a version of dropping the kids off at the pool. You may think it's juvenile that I laugh at this, but come on, it's funny. And some of you might be thinking, how do you know it's deliberate? Come on. A couple of poop references might be an accident, but 4 in the same little pickup? No. Now here's this car that I eventually was able to craft once I went away and came back. And it's a cute little thing. But this is a frustration of mine in this game. I wish they hadn't done this. Your scraps, your in-game currency, don't pick up while you're driving. So if you want to maximize your scraps, and the longer into the game you get, the more important it is to buy those maps to find all your pickups. You have to sort of sweep areas, clear them out, because obviously it's much easier to do it, and you don't waste your melee weapon durability or ammo doing it this way. You just use the vehicle durability. But then you have to get out and sweep the room, as I'm doing here, to pick up the scraps you couldn't pick up in the vehicle. And it's annoying, because otherwise you can, zip around and get pretty far in that vehicle, especially when you're like running zombies over with cars and everything like that. It's a crazy amount of fun. But if you want to maximize your scraps, you have to do this sort of double duty. It's freaking annoying. It made me so mad I hit the exo power-up container. Stupid zombies. Why do you make a bar not cool? There's crafting. That's the way crafting's supposed to work. But it was during one of those little sweeps that I discovered this little thing. I'm not sure this is a bug per se. This is the umbrella gun. It's kind of a laser gun. But I discovered that it also has a rather hilarious effect on the already dead zombies. It gives life after death to the living dead. And it looked kind of fun. And I included this just because it looks a lot like the mall on Black Friday. But also, you see that guy in the middle here? The guy who's just sort of a phantom sticking his butt out for reasons I don't know. I think he was supposed to fall down, but he didn't fall down. And that's kind of sad and some sort of metaphor for life. No, it's just a glitch. This part, this drives me crazy. The fact that it's like gentleman's rules with zombie fighting. The wide-ranging weapons, a lot of them don't let you hit them when you're on the ground. And I got so mad, I went like Mike Tyson on him. Like, take that. No, I was just mad. I wanted to kill him the hard way. Stupid freshy zombies. Take that. How dare you. Frank's a freaking gentleman fighting zombies. I don't get that. No, you kick them when they're down. And this, I just really like this. This is called the Jurassic Barf, I think. It is a dinosaur mask that spits acid. And this and the penguin that spits ice, they're a bit harder to use just because they are so specific, but you really get going after a while when you kind of get the feel for it. And I started feeling like a certain character from another game franchise. I was like, Reptile wins. And then I'm like, no, wait. Competing franchise to Street Fighter. I shouldn't go there. This is another thing that really annoys me. The aiming on the thrown weapons is a little deceptive. It looks like it's gonna go over, but it doesn't. And you can take damage if you're not careful. Don't throw right from over a railing because you think you're throwing over it and you're not. And of course this happened during another silliness. This isn't a bug per se. They just had a survivor spawn in near literal pools of completely harmless zombies. But Barry here won't run away until they're all gone, even though they can't get him because Barry is apparently precious. And I guess Barry wants me to go down there to kill all these bastards, to defend his freaking honor or something. I don't know. But I was having none of it, and I set myself on fire throwing Molotov cocktails because I didn't want to go in there. But eventually it worked. Honest. He'll fall down any time now. Took a while because he's still on fire. But there we go. And now Barry can finally leave. It's finally safe for Barry's delicate constitution to leave. And I just included this because I thought it was cool. It's a riding mower that mows zombies. But it drives like absolute crap. That's okay though. It's totally worth it for this jib effect. Whee! That is the greatest thing. Whee! Flying zombie leg. And it's just like a diver. It has such excellent technique as it severs from the zombie's body in completely improbable ways. But I wasn't kidding when I said this thing drives like crap. And here's another zombie spawning in wall, and this one makes absolutely no sense because I'm gonna kill a zombie trapped in ice with a sword made of ice, and if this actually killed the friggin' thing, why is it still moving in ice? But there you have it, zombie-sicle. Maybe that's just adding insult to injury, I don't know. This part isn't actually a glitch. This was me scaring the crap out of myself. Ah! That's me in a Blanca mask in a completely pitch black hallway, and I got a little jumpy. And, you know, wrestler Blanca Frank really isn't that scary. But this is the part where the game glitched before. This is what it actually looks like. And I included this just so you can sort of see it in all its glory when it's not freezing and making that terrible noise. End to end, like I promised, I'd show you Frank with the exoskeleton and a cannon making more zombies explode and fly. Because this is poetry in video game form.